Hey, Gavax here. So today I want to give my final thoughts on the Madden 22 beta and talk about some of the gameplay and the Gridiron Notes deep dive that they went into. A lot of things I said in my, I think it was like last week in my beta thoughts is going to roll over to this one. So definitely take a look at that video where I talk about the gameplay and the beta thoughts as this kind of builds off that, kind of give my final thoughts, grades, opinions on the beta. My biggest thing, and they talked a lot about here at the beginning, game day momentum, game day atmosphere, next gen stats driven AI. This is all basically for offline as they answered down here. Now, there's going to be some online aspects I'll get to in a second, but basically, community frequently asked questions. How will gameplay momentum work in Madden Ultimate Team? When playing online modes as a head to head seasons in Weekend League, home field advantage will not be enabled. I'm guessing momentum means they're not going to be online either. So, kind of nice, right? Like, unless they just said home field advantage, but I'm going to take it to mean game day momentum too. That's cool. Now, it might be in MUT, and I would assume it's going to be in MUT if they ever do like an event with some sort of game day momentum. Solos, they'll probably have some stuff. So as long as it's not on for head-to-head season week league, I'm okay with that, right? Now, whether they reacted to us freaking out or it was a plan all along, I don't care, right? They've reacted to videos of mine within 30 minutes on some things. Whether it took them, I don't know, a week or whatever, or they didn't see my video at all and they didn't react and it was just planned the whole time. In the end, we don't know, but we care that it is off, and that's in the end a freaking goal that's done. So that's kind of cool. All right, I'm glad because oof, MUT would have been bad, right? If they kept it like they had in the beta, and we would have had a lot more complaints for online gameplay. So a lot of this stuff, game day momentum, I talked about it, right? People in Mile High will fatigue more if you're the away team. Okay, game day atmosphere, they're gonna have like fans. Okay, big whoop. They have some more things. Next gen stats. Okay, cool. That's neat. It's star-driven AI. This is like all mostly for offline stuff. Star-driven AI basically it makes teams play more like teams. Like Baltimore is going to run with their quarterback a lot more. They're the Bills, they say, is going to pass more. Pittsburgh's going to blitz more. Awesome for AI improvements for them. Now, the issue with AI, and we're going to get to it in the core gameplay enhancements, is like that's cool as like the meta sense of like how your opponents play if you're playing against a computer. But like the AI I care about are those 10 players on defense that I'm not controlling in all instances, right? I want those to play well and play balanced. And they definitely did improve them quite a bit. Now, I'll talk about that as we get through that with coverage and everything. There's still quite some holes in that. But, again, it was a beta. They say they're still working on it. They still actually, acknowledge some of the flaws that they had in the beta. And I thought like, wow, they acknowledged a lot of things that I had issues with in it. And let's get into it, okay? All right, so player movement. Now, this is the most controversial thing in probably the Madden community at the moment, right? Player movement on current gen versus next gen. Current gen, in my opinion, is a more fun game. You're more in control of your player. Next gen, they say, is more close to realism with how guys kind of accelerate and get top end speed and stuff. Now, I can see that kind of want to go for realism, but like there has to be a line where something, because it's a video game, right? There has to be a line where you can't go 100% realism because we have this third person omniscient view of the quarterback over the defense, and that's not realistic, right? The quarterback can't see through an overhead cam like they would out of like a drone or something. So like it's you kind of got to get that balance between realism and fun. Now they're trying to go with movement being realistic and a little slower, and like I get it. I understand, there's the sim style that likes that, but like, I don't understand. Like, they have these different game modes, sim style, arcade mode, competitive mode. Why can't they make the movement on those different modes different too, right? Like you have your different sliders and stuff. Like what's keeping you from making the game more responsive, right? Going to next gen and making it even more fluid, even more responsive. So like it's strange to me that they're deciding to go the other way, right? A lot of people say those old Madden games are super fun because the guys are so smooth. It's very easy to like play, pick up, and have fun, and the game plays more enjoyable than it does nowadays. So it's strange to me that they're kind of going like the other way with it on purpose. And you know what? It's their prerogative, it's their game. It's just frustrating from a player standpoint. Is I feel like I have more fun with the better reacting players, but a lot of guys like the slower movement, right? That's why it's so controversial. Like, I don't like that you can guard 2-3 routes in a play with a guy with an insane acceleration, and I definitely feel that, right? A lot of the jumping, the thing is the unrealistic jumps are still in this game, so we'll see if we can fight that. Like, it's right now between linebackers and 22 won't jump, right? It's just like 21, and if you get lurk around them, they'll jump out of the building. So it's like, it's weird that they can't like get in that middle ground somewhere to make it feel a little bit more natural, right? For them to be able to break up passes behind them, but not so much that they're 15 yards behind them if they're a safety or if they have lurker. But anyways, One of the biggest areas of emphasis in Madden 21 was route data, and we've added a bunch of new play-specific routes to 22, more routes, receivers, signature cuts, releases off the line, press, deliver more, turning up the field after catch. And like, here's the thing. This was awesome. Turning up the field after the catch, you guys are going to notice this, and this is probably one of the best changes that they made. You throw a ball to the sidelines, and a lot of times if you rack the ball, boom, they run out of bounds. Now this year, if you let the AI control it, they'll get up bounds. It's really awesome. You'll get a lot of field. You get a lot of movement going up the sideline that way. So it's weird that to me the biggest change is like the computer actually controls the player better and quicker than you can, and it's kind of frustrating. Like I talk about like a lot of like, hey, let me beat my opponent, let my stick skills be better than him. But when they do things like this, and I see the computer playing the game so much better than I can and controlling the guy in the field better than I can just by the turning mechanics that they auto tuned in, it's a little frustrating. And so like but it is what it is. I think like, and overall, like overarching, like I got used to the movement in 22, and I'll probably end up playing 22 next gen over current gen, right? We weren't able to test current gen. They only gave us the beta for next gen. And you know what? I got used to it. I'll probably end up being there. It's the next game. I don't know what they're going to do with comp because, it's still kind of hard to get a next gen console. So they might make competitive on last gen again. So maybe all of the bad players will be on next gen. So it'll be a lot easier to win games, get weekend league rewards, that kind of stuff. So maybe people will like that better for that reason, because the competition level is going to be so significantly less if they make comp on last gen. So we'll see. They say for both user controlled and AI controlled receivers, user controlled definitely felt better, but AI control seemed to do it the best. For more explosive player movement, you'll see ball carriers and defenders alike showing maximum effort in their posture when sprinting. Yeah, I mean, that's just like, it's animations that look better, right? The game looks like real life. So like that's like the biggest trade-off with the game is like, if you put animations in there, it looks a lot more like the real thing. It might play worse because I know a lot of people's like biggest bugaboo about this game is the animations, right? And like the animations control everything. That's one of the reasons why I hate NBA 2K. And like whenever I play that game, I'm like, oh sweet, I got this player, I'm leveling up. Like my player is freaking awesome, but I don't actually like playing the game. So it's weird. It's like who triggers the right animation? So like that's a lot of the problem. It's nice, but it's also a lot of the problem. But we'll get to more animations, how EA actually did better this year with some of the animations in a bit. They explode faster through starts and cuts, which is a critical piece of feedback received from the Madden community last season. Now, I will say 22, and when I said I got used to the movement, I did. It's definitely better than 21. Like let's call a spade, right? That ain't a club. That's a spade. It's better. It is 100% better. And I think if people get used to it, they will adjust. I've adjusted. I'm fine with it. I've kind of resigned myself. I don't think EA wants to go back to the quick players and the movement and the universal feel of, control over your player that you have in 21 current gen, or we'll see what 22 current gen. It might just be a copy and paste of 21 because all this stuff they say is next gen. You'll feel smooth and explosive control for both. I will say quarterbacks are going to be a problem rolling out. We'll talk about that in a second with one of my main problems, my biggest problem with the beta and everything in between. So we added more animation content and better transitions. Yeah, anyways, there's also some changes to ball carrier controls. These will have a few more tools in the arsenal this year with control moves. Your special moves like juke, spin, and dead leg will have variants based on if the move is performed while holding down R2 versus letting go of the acceleration. These variants are focused on making the length of the move shorter to get you back in the control quicker, as long as you're not trying to run at top speed when starting the move. Learning how to master this skill will give you more options to the ball carrier to get creative in navigating traffic, have more control on hitting run lanes, and more variety when faking out defenders. So here's the thing. I didn't get it at first, right? Like I didn't understand the ball carriers, but then when I figured out, hey, if I'm going to juke right, hold right on the right stick, and you do so much better. Same things with spin. You can actually beat a lot of guys. I think the spin moves, it's tough because I really like when you can beat guys on the left stick and you don't have to put in pre-canned animations to beat guys. Like I'm talking about with, 2K, you gotta throw it behind the back, you gotta do that kind of stuff. It's the way they want to go though. They want it to look like the NFL and look like guys doing, real moves out there. And I don't know. It's just a philosophy thing with games. And my philosophy is it's sweeter when I feel like I can control it and I'm moving the guy and I'm beating him that way, versus like putting in an animation. Like remember Madden 18 spin moves where you could fake out 6 guys with 1 spin? Yeah, like it's cool. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, it's probably happened sometimes in real life, but like, I don't know. It's it's how they're choosing to code the game. And I mean, the game's not terrible, okay? These are the things I'm complaining about, but again, it's a philosophy difference between myself and my opinion on the game and how they want their game to look and play. So in the end, it's my opinion, and like I'm picking these things. Some people say I'm nitpicking, and I feel that. I feel that. And I don't think the game's in a bad spot. Like, if they fix the things they say they're going to fix, 22 will be okay. It's not going to be the greatest thing ever. Not going to be the most fun football game that you've ever played, but it's going to look realistic. It's going to be fine. It's going to be. Tackling got a significant upgrade across the board. You know, I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to say tackling. I still feel like guys have cones in front of them. I don't love that. I wish they could make it more quote unquote physics based, and you actually have to run into the guy, use your left stick. But like, you know, ball carriers can stop and it's hard to anticipate. So I hate the fact that tacklers stop in front of the ball carrier, because a lot of times the AA will stop and let them run right past them. Pursuit is screwed up. I saw one comment be like, AI pathing is super hard for developers to do, and I wish somebody knew what they're talking about with developing. It's like, I've played Madden 15. Go watch those guys with Playrec, with Pursuit. That played better than Madden 21 Pursuit. It is wild how it's gotten worse over the years. Pursuit is one of the things that is 100% worse, and there's not a lot of things that I can say this about. Pursuit has gotten worse in the last 6 years, and I don't know why. I think it's just atrophy with all the new like ball carrier moves and one cut stuff that they put in the game, and they just haven't like taken a look at the code enough. So contact, it doesn't matter. This stuff, it's cool. New animations, concurrent gang tackles. They've been talking about gang tackles since like 05, right? I don't care, right? Like, you say this every year. We got more animations. It's not the problem with the game. It looks more realistic. It's cool. You see new stuff, push out stuff. New tackling momentum logic will better detect the size, speed, and traits of the players involved in the matchup. It's interesting they say traits. What traits matter? The players involved in the matchup, so that way base tackle physics of both entry and outcome will match appropriately. I still had very small guys tackling big guys. I still had, you know, those same issues, but a lot of it depends on the angle they're getting tackles. And I'm not saying, like, here's the thing, big guys go down to small guys in the NFL. It happens if you get the right angle, if you cut their legs out from under them, that kind of stuff. And you'll see it in Madden, but also big guys hopefully will run through those small guys. And also, like, it's weird because you can't make everything in Madden with the way they do their stats physics-based, right? Like, you can't do it because, like, if you have like a smaller back that has trucking at 99, are they going to be able to truck somebody that's heavier than them? IRL, sometimes. In the game, yeah, the stats say they should. But, like, what if you're 260 pounds trying to truck somebody that's 200 pounds and you have no trucking? You just don't know how to get your leverage down, right? And you're going to go down. That's why, you know, regular people are regular people and NFL athletes are NFL athletes, because they know how to get these things done. So it's you know, a tough balance, and I can definitely feel their struggle. How much do you put weight into versus the stats into these collisions? So it's something I struggled with for years. I think what I saw in 22, it wasn't bad. Right, I didn't see anything too terrible. Of course, you know, I'm going to play the game a lot more on launch, and we'll see a lot more coming over that first month. But overall, we'll see how Derrick Henry, and if he is overpowered this year like he was in 21 Next Gen. You'll see bigger packs falling forward, more tackles, while smaller, more algebats will get thrown backwards. AI control players are also aware of these matchups. You'll see small AI defenders taking legs out from underneath the bigger ball carriers, and new momentum-based tackling. Okay, cool. For catching controls, Madden NFL players desired more control and more organic outcomes in the passing game. Absolutely true. To fulfill that desire, we've made a lot of changes to significantly decrease the frequency of multiplayer catches. There will be no more rack multiplayer catches. Now, you guys know what it's talking about, right? Like, where you throw a streak down the field and you got to lob it a little bit. You can't throw a direct bullet, or else the defender will like warp catch up and catch the ball, right? And those warp catches are so annoying. And they're going to talk about warp catches here down in a second. So the run after catch, like the rack eggs, they call them, right? You got two guys right next to each other, and you get the rack egg because, like, maybe a guy has a spot, has a step on him, and then he over the shoulder catches it, but then gets that one like fall down animation. So that's like the rack egg. Like, basically, you egg caught him, but like with the rack button. So there'll be no more of that, okay? No more of those two-player interactions where the rack button kind of just like makes it great and makes you win. No more contextually questionable short yardage multiplayer catches, and less slowdowns by receivers, separate separation. This is the biggest thing. less slowdown by receivers with a step or two of separation. Now, here's the thing. There's been some complaining, and I definitely realize that, and I agree with it, like pass leading. I think pass leading, it's tough that they cut off the beta access completely and I can't go into practice mode to test it. I believe pass leading is kind of messed up with Gunslinger. And I really wish I could still test. I wish they gave us practice mode still and then make us connect to the servers just to get into the main menu and see. Because like last year we could play practice mode. And with the show, you could still practice mode after their alpha or beta, whatever they had this year. Less slowdown by receivers with step or two separation. Now, if pass leading, if you can't do it correctly, to throw a guy open with Gunslinger, because everybody loves Gunslinger, maybe that's one of the nerfs to Gunslinger that they have in the game intentionally, right? The ball comes out lower, it's easy to swat, and now you can't pass lead it as well. Whereas, like, if you didn't have Gunslinger, then you can pass lead it. We'll see if that's the case when the full game launches, but that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, and kind of what I saw during the beta. Like, pass leading with set feet lead was awful. Pass leading with Gunslinger was awful. But pass leading without it, I don't know if I use quarterback without it, funny enough. What you will see are more single-player catching scenarios where both players independently playing the ball or seamlessly playing the receiver with catch tackles, catch knockouts, and mid-air collisions. Specific to mid-airs, we've added some functionality so that the intended outcome of the interaction will be respected in any tackle that takes place during the catch, so you don't have to rely on a specific animation to get the correct play outcome. I actually really think this is a good idea. This is incredible. Yeah. I don't know how to properly put into words how nice this is for a lot of the issues we've had with catching over the last few years, right? They're going to go into talk about, catch height thresholds, that stuff, big receivers, larger catch radius, defenders attempt to swat the ball away, have a larger range to reach and knock the ball away. So tall defenders and wide receivers are much more valuable now than the Tyreek Hills of the world. I don't know, like, we can go through specific examples, but I'm not going to do that because this video is going on long enough. But overall, I think that's a good improvement. As much as we discussed all the cool things happening with the skill players, we know that you much like the trenches too. We've made enhancements to both pass and run blocking to improve animation quality and control in these interactions. Just like tackling our new momentum logic and blocking to respect the physical pass rushes that fire off into the line. You'll see all new animation contact with the blockers engage defenders that are battling to the quarterback. And they ultimately attempt to shut the block to get past the blocker. The result of more organic dynamic function of none of this happened in the beta. This was no. No. Like, okay, here's the thing. The pocket did set up nice. You were able to step up into it. You definitely want to step up. Quarterbacks inside the pockets moved a lot better. But I don't know. Momentum's hard to say because, like, okay, should an offensive lineman that's 350 pounds destroy a linebacker that's 230 pounds? Kinda, but offensive linemen are like 300, 330, whatever, not 350, but you get what I'm saying. But, like, it's more like they should destroy, like, I think what I saw during the beta is linebackers still get off blocks really well in the run game, right? Linebackers still shed incredibly. I think what they're talking about is like the Tyrann Mathieu type players where they're actually small, and if you get pieced up by an offensive lineman, you are gonna get absolutely destroyed. They talk a lot of words here, but blocking is still a problem. I've noticed screenplays actually were really nice. Screenplays were nice. Those definitely got improved, so I will say they're true there. A control pass will now have access to non-engaged speed rush moves. Okay, my biggest issue with the beta, and I put this out on Twitter, was contains. Contains were not good at all. They were basically a waste of two defenders at times. 3-3-5 wide, spread my guys, spread my line, spread my outside linebackers, contain the quarterback. They got stood up on the line, right? Tight ends would stand them up, tackles stand them up, and they don't do anything. They don't fight outfield. They don't set the pocket like they talk about, like this pocket, right? Why have contains if they're going to get stiffed on the line of scrimmage and this guy's going to escape out there anyways? And then this guy, people will choose quarterbacks that are fast, Lamar Jackson, Vicks, that kind of stuff. Even Russell Wilson, that kind of stuff is going to outrun these defensive ends. And it's going to be frustrating. Now, sometimes defensive ends are going to be faster than them, right? They get the Khalil Macks out there. They get, the faster, like the Von Millers, the legends. Then you can kind of chase them down, but I don't know. Core improvements. Okay. This is weird. Maybe it wasn't in the beta. Maybe they got it for final release. Okay. Decreased effectiveness over top coverage adjustment in the guarding routes with cuts. I guess. I don't know. I didn't really see it. I felt man coverage is about as good in 22 as it was in 21. Some post patterns work. Sorry. got something. Oh, sorry, I got something in my throat. This whisper talk. I can't do it, but the kids still sleep, so it's a W. Increase get off the okay, over the top coverage. Like some post patterns definitely work, right? The post patterns with hard cuts work. Post patterns with not hard cuts, with like, the ones that win in 21 against man coverage, like the thin posts, those don't work in 22. So no one play off those thin posts. New get off speed blitz defenders so they're faster their gaps. I didn't think blitzing was very effective in the beta. New impact blocks that respect player momentum with emphasis on bigger offensive linemen dominating smaller defensive backs inside the tackle box. Kinda. But like, we're still going to run, 220, 230 pound Isaiah Simmons in the box, and he's not going to get pancaked. Right? Here's the thing. I will still 146. I could not run 146. If they ran inside zone against my 146, they were getting a lot of yards. So in that sense, it's awesome. I love it, right? You should not be able to set up a thin box and then not get destroyed. I love when the run is balanced. I love when big, dime sets like that get destroyed in the run, because that's how it should be. That is good gameplay. That is great balance. The run beats those, but it's going to be very hard to pass against it because you got a lot of small defenders out there. Add a multiplayer scramble stack interactions. Okay. Reduce match distance on blocks in the rear and back shoulder so you won't get those like cheap shots. Returned high throw mechanic to make it more effective. Now, this could very well be cheese, but I will say I threw a high point pass to Gronk, and my opponent's Isaiah Simmons, who was like 5 to 10 yards underneath it, picked it off. So, Isaiah Simmons is still an absolute freak of nature. So high throw mechanic definitely is a lot more effective, especially against linebackers. Like, you really can't put linebackers out on the field in coverage at all. High point is going to eat their lunch. But I say safeties can still pick it off. So it is more accurate, though. Major tuning to multiplayer catching to reduce the frequency, but also reduce warping when they are used. I like that. Yes, warping is awful. We're still going to see it, but I'm glad that they say reduced it. They keep working on it. Improve pursuit logic. That doesn't... It's still a problem. Pursuit's still a major problem. Improve defender reaction time when position to play the ball versus pass. Love to hear that. After the whistle, teammates will not help the ball carrier off the ground. Who cares? All right, playbooks. They say they're going to update them. Now, they don't say if these are going to be live playbooks. Which ones are they updating? There's 2 different playbooks again. I don't know why they have the old playbooks. Either go all wide or go none, right? It's awful. They added new formations. Very cool. Nothing. I didn't see anything crazy on the new formations in the beta. I tried them all out. Nothing was insane. But, I'm sure we'll find something. Pass coverage. Now, basically they say they took the 5 most popular plays, which is kind of funny. These would not be the 5 most popular plays if you had to ask me, right? Like, they had gun tray Y-flex PA crossers. Why didn't they do gun bunch tight end PA crossers? What they did was take the most effective, call the most by the players, highest yards to completion ratio. But I think they probably did it against like offline and online together. Like, what I would have done was take the top 100 finishers in weekend league, average those guys out, and then find their most used plays, and then balance those, because those are an online play, right? The AI basically is what they're saying. They're fixing up here too. So it's kind of similar, right? The dagger. This is a great play. Gun empty base flex verticals, hilarious, right? Empty base flex verticals. Now, there's that one thing that beat cover 3 early in the year that they patched out, but verticals, whenever I played against a guy, I think I remember this past year that ran nothing but this play over and over. He quit within like a couple minutes. It was so weird. But anyways, against the computer, maybe it's great. PA crosser, single back wing pair tight end attack, gun bunch mesh spot. Weird that it's not mesh post. I don't know why it's mesh spot, but I think the running back in gun bunch mesh plays on that wheel route is so good. And that's why they chose mesh spot instead of mesh post. I don't know, man. We went through each play, trends started to emerge regarding why these were effective, and they worked on specific area. Basically, what they said was crossers, right? Vertical crossers, backpedal runs transition. I love it, right? Like, I definitely noticed this. This has absolutely changed. Vertical crossing routes, railing to the flats. Now, I will say the one thing they don't show here, red zone awareness. I'm not going to go through each one of these things. You can read these on your own. They don't really mention guys. They mention this rallying to the flat stuff, right? They don't mention actually rallying to the sidelines, right? These cloud flats, curl flat, cloud flat defenders. A big problem is like when the user has the middle of the field, they're taking advantage of the sidelines because the cloud flat doesn't always get to the sideline, doesn't play it that well. And it's very frustrating for someone to be able to run a corner route right at your cloud flat. And because your cloud flat stops short of the sidelines and a few yards short of it, they can fit it in there. And it's very frustrating that they don't do that. They don't rally to it. So I will say it's kind of cool, kind of neat. But like they still have some work to do. And I really hope they keep listening to us, keep looking at the popular plays. I love that they did this. I absolutely love this. keep looking at these plays, keep seeing the problems, keep seeing the trends, and we can't wait for it to get better in pass coverage and, all around. So that's it. I want them. I love it. I love that they're listening to our feedback. Always open to feedback. Please do. Thank you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching Call to Action. I will see you tomorrow.